She's from New York City. Our great friend Tim Stafford is a friend of hers and recommended her. So she's got a book out. Got a couple books, but she's got a new book out. She'll tell you about. But welcome up to the stage, Erica Fabri. And Jackie, her son. Look out, Nat. We got a new piano player here.
Ooh. Okay. Woo.
Hello, Greenville. Thank you for having me. I'm just trying to get this straight. It's my first time in Chicago. Thank you. I brought my son. We're from Brooklyn, so we came from New York City. And we're staying with my sister-in-law, who's so amazing. All these poems were fantastic. I'm super excited, and I'm glad everyone had music. I have a little music, a little bit. I'm going to open up with a poem. This is my second book. It's called Morphology. And I feel like I talk about the fact that it's a second book a lot because it was 15 years between book one and book two. And I didn't realize it, but that affects a lot of the poems. Because there were 15 years between the books, one of the main characters in the first book was a person who was very dear to me. It was my first love from when I was 14. And in between book one and book two, he died. I know it's a bummer, but I couldn't, I felt like it still had to be a main character in book number two. The book's a lot about grief, there's a lot of ghosts. So this is a section of the book where he's still a main character. He's just a ghost now. And the title of this poem is, There Are No Tattoos in Heaven. Last night you came to visit me in a dream. You told me there are no tattoos in heaven and held out your arms, wiped clean as proof. You asked if I wanted to know more about what it's like to live in the sky. I could tell you were tired by the way your body hung itself on the chair next to me. The clouds must have peeled 20 years off your skin. You wore dark brown hair like a teenager. You came back as the version of you I loved first, the version I loved most. There was too much to catch up on, and I didn't know how much time we had. I told you I was having a hard time making poems without you here. That even though I'd been so angry with you for so many years, I didn't want you to die. I told you my son is a masterpiece, that every day ignites and detonates a cannonball thing inside me. I told you that I do not go one day without remembering you and wondering how you always knew, since we were kids, that you would die so young. Why did we never believe you? You told me again that there are no tattoos in heaven, so save your money. They are just a temporary stain. Or on second thought, you said, no, go ahead, get as many tattoos as you can afford. Their full color life is fleeting. They decorate the flesh for such a short time, savor every needled line. I begged you to stay longer, but it was an impossible request. No one gets to tell their dreams what to do. I asked if you still remember the screen door, the coconut, the handfuls of pennies, the lake. You didn't. It was then that I realized the dead don't recognize us. They leave us behind, and we spend the rest of our days twisting our limbs, making ourselves turn colors in our attempts to bring them back to life. Okay, so this next poem, one of my favorite poets is here, Tara Betts, and she has this poem that I've loved for many years and I've taught in my classes. I still teach it, and it's a poem about rats. And then somehow, rats became an actual main character in this second book of mine. Which, if anyone who knows me, I live in New York City, I live in Brooklyn, we have a lot of rats. It's a main character in our lives. So really everything. The title of the book is Morphology, which I got this title from a poem where I found out that they took a rat's heart and morphed it into a jellyfish. Scientists did this, yeah? And that's not it. There's rats and rats and rats, and at the end I had to just accept I wrote a book that has a lot of rats, right? Yeah. So sometimes now I'll teach this poem that Tara wrote, and I'll teach it with this poem and other rat poems. There's a whole collection of rat poems in this world. The poem is based on a true story. A friend told me that they ordered a pizza, and it got delivered, but they fell asleep. And the pizza got left outside on their stoop in Brooklyn. Guess who ate the pizza, right? So and she knows this not just because it's obvious, but because the landlady lived in the first floor, opened the window and saw it. I'm like, I have to write this rap poem, right? But once I started writing it, you know what it's like as a poet. It stopped being a funny poem about rats, and it suddenly turned into a metaphor. Earlier, someone read an amazing poem that was based on Ilya Kaminsky's poem, and I feel like this is the sibling poem, so I was excited when I heard that. Because I started thinking of these rats, it turned into a metaphor of the way we're watching pain and suffering all over the planet while we're living our life. And it's called A Horror Story. America is the land of pizza delivery, and Brooklyn has the best pizza. Wow. A girl comes home. I've never gotten a reaction to that. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, get it? America is the land of pizza delivery, and Brooklyn has the best pizza. A girl comes home drunk, orders an artichoke pizza, extra large, and before it arrives, she falls asleep in her jeans. The delivery man presses a silver button, a shiny dime, 10 times before he gives up. He leaves her pizza on the brownstone stoop and rides his bike north into the night. On the 3rd floor, the girl is comatose, dreaming of lattes and love stories. A mischief of rats scurry out of their dark, tent-like spaces to make their way onto this scene's stage in ballerina rows. The aroma of melted cheese magnets their bodies to the box. Claws tear apart cardboard. The rodents nosedive into the pie as if it were a swimming pool. They fill their throats with this hot, gooey, forgotten meal until there is no room left for breath. The landlady wakes up and peeks out of her 1st floor bedroom window. She watches this moonlit feast, teeth gnashing at crust, tails slapping the concrete. She stares in silent horror. She is mortified by their ferocious hunger, repulsed by their will to fight for their own survival. This is extra food that someone was too tired to eat. They are devouring it like children imprisoned on occupied land. She watches the rats through her rectangle lens, same shape as a TV screen. She cannot stand to look for another second. She pulls the cord of her blackout blinds and goes back to bed.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, so we have a lot of poets here. Does anyone ever do the 30-30? Woo! Yes? You know what that is? April, yeah, okay, National Poetry Month is April, and there's 30 days of April. So you challenge yourself to write one poem a day for 30 days. And back in the day, we would post them on live journals. Anyone know what that is?
Yeah.
Facebook. Poets would comment. Now everyone's, I feel like, maybe too scared to publish all their poems. So I've only ever achieved all 30 twice. And once one year I said, I'm doing it this year, I'm making it all 30. And the second time I did all 30 was I was pregnant. I had a poetry baby, born in April, right? And he was late, and was like done. I was like done being pregnant. I was like, I wanted you 2 weeks early. He's late. And so I decide for the month of April, I'm going to do the 30-30, and they're going to be letters to my son, who then was swimming inside me, literally. So I'm like, I'll write one a day. He's coming out any day. I don't know he's going to be so late. I don't know I'm going to have to write all 30, okay? He ends up being born on April 27th. And then I was like, I might as well do the last 3. So it's a very long poem in 30 parts. I'm only going to read one, but I need you to get the reference. And so it's called 30 Days, and every day I say, Dear Jackie, and I speak to him. I tell him about my day, but at a certain point, most of the poems are begging him just to be born already. I end up getting induced. He never wanted to come, right? But this one particular poem that we're gonna do together? He's gonna play piano in a moment. It was 2016, and Prince dies all of a sudden, and he's late, and I'm like, oh, this is it. This is why he hasn't come yet. He's waiting for the right reincarnation. I say this in the poem. Our son is Prince, you know. And where I live in Brooklyn is just down the street from Spike Lee's studio. And Spike Lee, impromptu, Prince died in the morning, and by evening had closed the neighborhood down, had a huge block party, TV stations. I think VH1 was there. It was huge. And everyone is having a huge Prince block party, dance party on the street with TV stations. And I'm walking home pregnant. And I'm like, look at this. And he's kicking me. So this is a poem about that day, the day Prince died, when I'm begging him to come and telling him everybody wants to be born. So Purple Rain was a theme that day. So he's going to play for us. Okay, baby, you ready? Dear Jackie, Prince died today. I was standing in the living room and special report scrolled across the TV screen. I shouted to your father. I said, maybe this is why he's late. He is waiting for the right soul to reincarnate into. Maybe our son will be Prince. On my walk home, I heard Purple Rain echoing through the neighborhood. All of South Elliott Street was closed down for a block party in his honor. 1,000 people were singing the chorus. TV cameras flashed giant spotlights. I walked you closer to the crowd because I wanted you to hear such a giant choir of beauty. Something so gorgeous, so holy, should certainly pull you into this city. Listen, Brooklyn is chanting in his royal purple name for your debut.
One more.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, one more. That was wonderful.
It takes a long time to publish a book, so I published it, and then I realized he's 9 years old, that poem. Okay, I'm gonna read one last poem, and the title of this poem is The Greatest Poem Ever Written. So, what do you need after that anyway, right? No, just that. See, now they don't even want my poems.
Yeah, they love your poems. No, but he's good at piano.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
The greatest poem ever written. The greatest poem ever written must be a love poem. There must be a tongue in this poem with its own animal heart and 2 lips that suck skin like warm dumplings. But the greatest poem ever written must also be a war poem, where people eat grenades instead of sandwiches, where children remember their homes only as lightning bolts. If I build this poem on a mountain, overlooking a dragon-shaped lake, I cannot be afraid of falling from the roof of the poem to my doom. Instead, I must learn the recipe for making a neon rainbow that floats like a fog between old trees. There will be ghosts. After all, it is the greatest poem ever written, which means people love people who die and haunt their dark windows. The dead return as green light energy. They sneak into our bodies at the feet, then ripple through our legs like an ocean wave. We have sex and we pretend it is not the ghost in us compassing our hips. Because this is the greatest poem ever written, it needs to be true. We are already residents of the insane asylum. A straitjacket is the only quilt we own. What are eyeballs? What are eyeballs? Are you an eyeball? You are late to work. You live in New York City. Your bag is too heavy. You are certain today will be the day your collarbone snaps like a carrot from the ferocious weight. You are holding a paper cup of tea. When you try to squeeze honey into the rising steam, you miss. The sticky golden goo oozes over the lines of your palm. You can lick it off, or you can throw yourself into traffic. I daydream of taking a long, hot shower while the whole world burns. I stand alone in the bathtub. Outside, tornadoes of fire roar. Flames are arms. Come and get me. Holy hands, take me.